Hello and welcome to the Wilderness of Creativity. I'm your host, Lucy, and I'm a passionate dance and drama teacher, proud mum of one, and first-time podcaster. I am so pleased to have you here with me as I explore the theme of creativity and hear from creatives and entrepreneurs just like you. Since starting this adventure in April 2024 after an amazing 6-week course with Sarah McDowell from the SEO Mindset, I've met some incredible people and had some really beautiful, deep, meaningful conversations about what creativity really means. Is creativity a luxury or a necessity? Well, you get to decide. Tune in every month and explore how my guests find their focus in a world that never stops buzzing and discover what it really means to take the road less travelled. So, subscribe now, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and if you love the show, then leave a review. And that's it. Welcome to your next adventure.
The Creative Influencer program came about kind of roughly 2 years ago. The National Civil War Centre and Palace Theatre in Newark became a national portfolio organisation. And as part of that, they received funding from the Arts Council to deliver lots of different programmes. Now, one of those programmes was a response to maybe a lack of provision for teenagers in the area. So the museum and the theatre both do amazing things for young children and for families and for adults and for older people. But teenagers, they've kind of been missed in a lot of the projects that have been put out there. So one of the projects that we wanted to invest in and support was this. It's a youth panel and they're called the Creative Influencers. And the idea behind it is that they meet every month. They plan projects, they design resources, they basically just find ways of making arts and heritage more accessible for other teenagers in the area. And as part of this as well, every 3 months they get to go on a trip. They go somewhere else in the UK. So we've been to London, Manchester, York, Nottingham, lots of really cool cities. And they get to see museums and galleries there. They get to go and see a professional stage production. And we, most importantly, get to go and have some really nice food as well. We kind of work with about 12 young people at a time, and they can stay on the program up until the age of 18. So they're 13 to 17-year-olds. And they get to work with members of staff here and do some amazing things that I'm sure they will tell you all about shortly. And they get to have these experiences that other people their age don't usually get. And I'm sure they're going to explain this whole thing a lot better than I can.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Tom. I mean, this sounds incredible, this initiative, to kind of get young people involved in the arts and to give you a platform, I think, more importantly. Do you want to talk a little bit about why you want to explore the arts? Does anyone want to start with that?
I mean, I found out about the creative influencers when I was visiting the Civil War Museum, and my first time was really nice. It was the Panto Press night, that's December. It was really good to see other people that interact with the arts and care so much about getting other people to know more about it. Because art isn't accessible to everyone, unfortunately. It should be, but it's not. And just to meet everyone and see everyone be so passionate about what they talk about and what they do was quite neat.
Yeah. Did you three know each other before?
No.
Yeah, seemed to know. So this is a brand new sort of friendship group as well, isn't it? And is that part and parcel of it? Is that what's important here as well?
Yeah, I think definitely having so many new friends outside of school is really important as well. Especially when interacting with the arts and stuff.
We're all really passionate about it, so it's really nice to meet other people and have similar interests and that we can talk on this kind of level with.
Absolutely. What year groups are you in?
I'm year 13.
I'm year 11.
And I'm year 11 as well.
Okay. So have you chosen creative arts as part of your GCSE and A-level pathway then?
Yeah. Well, I chose both music and drama at GCSE, and I'm currently looking into either continuing at A-level or going to a performing arts college. And I think Creative Influence has helped by a lot with that as well, particularly going to see all the different productions and stuff and saying, can I see myself in this career path in the future?
Yeah, I do drama A level as well, and I'd love to go on and do something performing based or with drama next year. And I think creative services gives that exposure to other different like professional productions, and similar to what Mike said about seeing more about the industry.
If I think back to when I was at school, going to see different productions and going to youth theatre was my thing. So I loved kind of going to youth theatre and being in productions. So I guess with creative influencers, you're seeing the different avenues that you could go down. It's not just about being a performer, but actually there's so much more involved, isn't there? What sort of projects have you sort of established or been involved in?
Well, we've done lots of stuff. Protest banners. We've done trips to learn more about different kinds of art and things.
We created a gallery in the museum a little while ago, and that was quite interesting, like seeing the process of that. And we helped out at like Scarefest and stuff like that, like raising that was to raise money for the
Children's Bereavement Centre. Yeah.
And that was really great.
What sort of things are you planning for those meetings? How long do you meet for? And yeah, what do you sort of plan within those meetings?
Our meetings is normally about an hour and a half long, I'd say, I think. And we plan future trips and things. You know, we're all really involved in planning what we do, where we go, what we're interested in when we go on the trips. That's like a big portion of it. We also just talk about what we've been up to as well. It's really nice because it is almost like a friendship group at the same time. So we talk about what we've been up to. Sometimes we do little articles as well.
Today we've got we're going to do the workshop with her there.
Oh yeah, the writing of the manifesto. That's right, isn't it? So looking at your values as young artists, and how those values will sort of help you curate work or create projects. That's right, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think a lot of in the meetings as well, we also plan a lot of the local events that we get involved with. So such as the Open Door Festival and the Scarefest, which we've been involved with within the past year. We come up with ideas that we can get involved with and put on, such as I know we did karaoke one time for the Open Doors Festival. And just creative art-based activities to get teenagers and younger people involved.
What do your friends in school think about you being involved in the Creative Influencers programme?
Well, I'm actually home educated, so I don't go to school. But I tell people about it, and they're always like, "Oh, that's really cool," and I didn't know that kind of like existed, and I didn't obviously until I found out. But yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, I wish I could do it." It's like, no, sorry.
All my friends are really interested in what we're doing. They all follow the social medias and they keep up with what we're doing, and they'll message me like, "It looked really cool what you were doing the other day."
Yeah, same. And I know some of my friends are really eager to either get involved or see what else we do. It's really awesome and great opportunities.
I think something that strikes me about young creatives is that you have to be willing to follow your own path and not be too influenced by other things that are going on in the world and in your lives. And I think that's really inspiring. I think we need to give young people and young voices more of a platform to kind of talk about the things that matter. So, you know, what really matters to you as young creatives? What are you inspired by? What's motivating you to be involved in the arts?
I think that seeing how arts bring people together, all different types of arts, from like galleries and to things like theatre and theatre productions, and the way that it brings people together is really interesting and quite inspiring for like the future. And
I mean, I think it's really important. I think lots of people see art and stuff and see it as like old-fashioned, you know. And I think a lot of groups are really underrepresented, neurodivergent people, you know, women, people of colour. And it's just, for me, it's just really important to me that art isn't, and that's for everyone. not just for one particular group and they're all equally represented.
Bouncing back off of what Mike said about art bringing people together, I know you mentioned youth productions and theatre earlier on. I've been a member of a local youth theatre company for a few years, and I definitely met some really cool people over the years through that, and I think art bonds people and will come together with friendships and different people.
What do you need more of, like in terms of resources or in terms of space? Like, obviously you meet at the National Civil War Centre, don't you? So is that potentially one of the challenges that young people face? It's like, where do we meet? If we're not meeting online, where do we meet?
I think a lot of young people aren't interested in the arts because they don't have that accessibility towards it. And they might see it as boring because meeting places tend to be like with older people particularly interested in the art. And I think if more young people could have access to things like we have of the creative influences, they'd find it less boring and more interesting, to generate more interest in the arts.
And I think it needs to be led by you, doesn't it?
I just think sometimes, people kind of forget about 20 and under. Young people are what we're interested in. Like, sometimes I'll see something that looks really great, but then I'm like, actually, I wouldn't like to go there because I know that everyone there is like 60 and over, which no offense is great, but I want to be there, and also there'd be other people my age because I'm a bit more at home.
Absolutely. And I suppose that's kind of where, school and the opportunities in school are so important, because it's an introduction, isn't it, to the arts like dance, drama, music technology, textiles, all of those subjects are so important. It'd be interesting to know your thoughts on how schools can better support children and young people to take those subjects.
I think there's definitely a really big focus on more academic subjects in school as opposed to going for the arts, and it's more encouraged as like a career path to go into like maths or sciences. And I think if there was more encouragement for people who really enjoy those things to continue enjoying them as like a career, I think that would definitely help the people doing what they love.
What sort of skills do you think you're going to be developing then in the creative influences?
I think definitely collaborating with other youth members and working as a team. I think that's really important going forward into any creative industry. And that's all beautiful.
Yeah, making friends is good. I mean, I've made so many new connections from this. I came in, and I'm not going to lie, I was actually petrified of everyone.
Yeah.
I think because we all have such a broad range of interests, it also like we talk to people that we wouldn't normally speak to, who are also not only a broad range of interests, but we also have interests that bring us together. For example, the arts are doing us together, but then we have interests outside of that, so we can interact with more people.
Is that sense of community, the collaboration, sharing of ideas, and planning ahead with other young people, young creatives in mind. I think that's so important. You should be empowered. And I think what came through so strongly when Tom was explaining the purpose of this initiative is to empower you and give you a platform to share your ideas. If people who are listening to the podcast want to find you, where can people find you, and what sort of projects can they be looking out for in the next few months?
So we have an Instagram page, which is creativeinfluencers_Newark. And on there, we post a lot of our updates with regards to information and events that we are organising or getting involved with in the local area. And we often share our trips and what we've been getting up to as a group on there. And also in the Newark Civil War Centre, there's lots of information and lots of people you can speak to who know about the Creative Influencer Programme and get involved with it too.
We also have a TikTok page that we post to sometimes, not quite as regularly as the Instagram page, but that's there as well.
Yeah, I can't get my head around TikTok. I'm going to, be completely honest. Instagram, I've only just launched my page for the podcast in the last 6 months. I didn't really use Instagram before then. It was normally Facebook. So yeah, technology is a wonderful thing when it works. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to venture onto TikTok just yet.
Sorry, as you said, that's one of the big things about having a creative influence here. And they probably haven't mentioned it because they haven't even realized the importance of them doing it, is that they've been able to come into this and work with us as a museum. And they won't believe this because they all think I'm really old, but I'm considered quite young to be working in this industry. And I'm still double most of their ages. And so them just being in here and showing us how to use TikTok and Instagram, some of the data that they're able to share, the kind of the views and the numbers that we've been able to include from reports back to Arts Council and so on, saying that we've had this level of engagement, it's blown the minds of loads of the managers and important people here to see that thousands of people are engaging with them digitally. Even if there's only just 12 of them in the group, we've got thousands of other people that are engaging with them on a weekly basis. Things like that. And as well as that, just these big ideas that they're bringing to the table, that because they don't have these preconceptions about the limits of what we're able to do. I remember one of our big projects this year was that they suggested that they wanted to have a sleepover in the museum, which off the bat, we would have never considered that because of the safeguarding, security, logistical issues with that kind of thing. But because they wanted to do it, we kind of brought these teams together from the museum to make it happen. And so one night this year, they all had a sleepover in this Tudor building and stayed over and watched films and had pizzas and things like that. So this is a building that's been around for hundreds of years, and yet a group of teenagers sitting around watching films and eating pizza has never happened before. But because they that idea, we've been able to work together as a team to do that. And that's just been one of these things that, again, because it's so natural to them, they probably haven't even acknowledged to themselves that it's such a big deal and such a big thing to have happened here. But it wouldn't have happened without them. That initial idea was all theirs. And that's kind of been the purpose of a lot of these meetings, has just been to share with them and listen to their ideas and then work as a team to try and make it happen. And a lot of the things that we've done have, believe it or not, have come directly from open conversations where they've said, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Oh, have we ever thought about trying this out? And then just going out and doing it. And we've had some really impressive results because of it.
I think that's it, isn't it? It's about giving them agency, but then us kind of, as the people who are in positions where we can make things happen, getting the ball rolling and listening to them and making those things happen. But we talked briefly there about having spaces for young people to meet, to share ideas, to kind of action things. And obviously with funding cuts and community centres closing down, there isn't a lot of places for young people to meet, and that's why the Creative Influences program is just so important, because not only do they have a place to meet, but they have people around them that are then going to listen to their ideas and give, help them develop that autonomy.
Definitely. And I think the issue is that the museums and some spaces like this won't have spaces for teenagers because teenagers don't go there. But then teenagers don't come here because there isn't a space for them. And so it's this self-fulfilling prophecy that teenagers don't want to engage in museums and galleries. Thankfully, and this has been the benefit of the trips that we go on, is that we get to see a lot of these museums that are doing that and starting to implement better facilities and spaces for teenagers. And we get to go to we went to Manchester Museum a few months ago, and they have amazing facilities and it's very open and accessible. And we've been able to go around and kind of pinch some of those ideas and be inspired by the spaces that we're in and bring it back to a space like this to make it more accessible for teenagers.
It sounds incredible. Obviously, we're now friends on Instagram, so I'm going to be following your progress very closely. If there are any events that you've got coming up that you want to promote in any way, then just drop me a message. Well, listen, go and have your lunch, and I hope you have a really good afternoon with Beth writing your manifesto. All right, take care, all of you. Hello, Lucy here. I'd love for you to help spread the word. There are several ways that you can do this. 1, you can subscribe to the podcast on your favourite platform, which will ensure that you never miss an episode. 2, you could share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues who might be inspired by the stories that we're sharing. 3, your reviews and ratings are incredibly important. They help new listeners discover the podcast and they give me valuable feedback on how I can improve. So, please take a moment to leave a review. Your support is what makes this possible. I'm on a mission to inspire, motivate and empower fellow creatives to take the road less travelled, and I am so grateful to have you along on this journey with me. Until next time, stay wild.